You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about jiu-jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a black belt who trains and owns Enforcer BJJ, located in Franklin, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Kerner.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here.
Man, thank you very much for taking the time out and talking about jiu-jitsu with me.
No, man, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. I was checking out your podcast. Some good stuff, man. You're showing like local people have, small network or whatever, and exposing everybody. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But man, without further ado, if you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
All right. I'm a black belt under Vitor Shaolin. I've been training for like 14, 15 years now. I originally trained in Texas under Sina Haddad at Ironside. And this guy was like a secret weapon. If people knew about him, he was like the Iranian Danaher. Like, knew everything about jiu-jitsu, like years before everybody else. I wish people knew about him because he's someone special. And then I moved out to Jersey for work, and I started training under Vitor Shaolin. So I got another person. I got to train with a legend and one of the coolest people ever. So I've been blessed in my journey. It's been awesome.
That's cool, man. That's some heavy names you got there. So yeah. How did you find jiu-jitsu, man? How did it creep into your life and take over?
All right, so a long time ago in '97, I started watching UFC 3. When most people say they watch UFC 1, they're lying. It was like 30,000 people saw it on pay-per-view or something like that. It was like a small number. And it didn't come out until UFC 3 came out first on video. And then later 1 came out. So I started watching UFC 3. And I was like, oh, this stuff is awesome. And at the time, I was like maybe 19 years old. I was pretty young. And I was like, my first paycheck from a real job, I'm going to start training. I'm going to get into Muay Thai. So I looked in the phone book. This is a long time ago before Google. I look on the phone book and I see this gym that has shoot fighting and Muay Thai. And I'm like, I'm there. It's in my same town in Elizabeth, in Jersey. And I go, and it's Dan Mirgliata, the UFC referee?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was my first coach. I went there, and we did shoot fighting. And I loved it. I did the Muay Thai every day, the shoot fighting. And then I moved to Florida. And when I was in Florida, there was nothing at the time. So I was like, all right, let me train some kickboxing, because there was like absolutely nothing. I was in West Palm Beach. You know where that is, by Miami, like 40 minutes north. And at the time, there was like nothing. So I started training kickboxing more, focusing on that. And then I moved back to Jersey because I had nothing there. I was just there for like just the experience. So I moved back to New Jersey and started training in kickboxing. And I was there for years. I was like gung-ho on it. I wanted to be pro. I had some amateur fights. I lived that lifestyle, and it was awesome. And then I got married, and I stopped kickboxing for a little bit, and we moved to Texas for work. And my wife was like, dude, you need to train. I was going crazy at home, just doing, just being grumpy as hell, I needed an outlet. So I started kickboxing again, but something wasn't right. Like when you go back and you don't feel like you were before. You were on a certain level and you took a couple steps down, and you get a little older and slower. You're like, oh, this sucks. I'm not what it used to be. Yeah. So from there, my friends' nephews came from Costa Rica, and they're like, oh, we want to try jiu-jitsu. And I was like, yeah, my gym has jiu-jitsu. And they're like, would you go with me? And I'm like, all right, what the heck? I'll take a class. Why not? So long story short, I took the class. I fell in love with it. They never signed up. And here I am 14, 15 years later. Everything happens for a reason. Shout out to Giancarlo and Jean-Pierre. Good looking. Yeah,
So it
yeah,
wouldn't be here without you.
yeah. It's crazy how the world works. Like everything's meant to be. Everything happens for a reason. You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So now here it is. Years later, I got a gym. I'm living it up. Well, not really. It's a struggle. We could talk about that too if you want.
Oh yeah, man. That's I like to talk about that type of stuff because that's the part of jujitsu that a lot of people don't talk about. From training to running your own school, the business aspect of it, man. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot. So
yeah.
it's a whole lot.
Oh man, is it? People don't know. Like some people get lucky; they get that location and everything is good, and other people, right here, I don't get that lucky. You know, I kind of went on a whim. I'm a really impulsive person. You know,
Hmm.
everything I do impulsive, but it usually works out. Sometimes it doesn't, but I met my wife. We fell in love. We got married after like 3 months, and it's been 20 years. You know,
Beautiful.
yeah. So some of the things I do is impulsive, but it works. And this one, it's been rough. I love it. I love what I'm doing, but it's not easy. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how long have you had this had your school?
Going on a little over 2 years now.
Oh, so it's new. So it's still a
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah. We just moved downstairs. I took a stupid, crazy risk for that one. I moved. Didn't even have many students, and I'm like, I need to be seen because my gym
Hmm.
is upstairs. So I'm in the boonies. Franklin is
Hmm.
like a ghost town. Like we're on the main road, but other than that, there's not much to do unless you like meth or whatever. That's their hobby out here. Like where I am in New Jersey, like you think of Jersey, and then where I am is like backwards Kentucky. It feels like sometimes.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little crazy out here. So I moved here during Corona, and
Gotcha.
so, all right, crazy story. Not gonna lie. I got hammered one night. I got drunk and I was like, man, I'm taking out a loan. I'm gonna open up a gym. So Saturday night, I'm out. I'm tanked at home and I take out a loan. And then that loan went through on Monday. I was like, oh damn. I was like, I really gotta do this now because what am I gonna tell my wife? So I was like, all right, I'm like, Jenny, I kind of took out a loan and I'm opening up a gym and no plans, no nothing. I didn't have a location. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm gonna do it, because I'm impulsive like that. So within a week, I had a spot. I told Shaolin, I thought he's gonna kill me at first because I'm like, I probably should have told him before, like I'm planning on opening a gym, but I made sure it was far away. I had a friend,
Hmm.
my buddy Dave Ross. He has a gym, and I'm like, all right, I got to make it far from him because I don't want to step on people's toes. So I
Hmm.
found Franklin. Nothing around. The closest gym is like 20 minutes, half hour in every direction. So I'm like, that's the spot. It's like more like a blue collar town. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill it. It's right on the main road. So I found this space. It was upstairs, and I took out a lease, signed it. Next thing you know, I'm like painting, moving in, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. First month, I'm gonna get like 20 people. You know, I'll be able to start at least like get most of the bills paid. So I do a grand opening, invite all my friends from Shaolins, from Core. I'm like, oh man, a ton of people are gonna show up. Man, like 3 people showed up. Like, it was
Oh.
all yeah, it was all my friends, like 20 people, 30 people or something, and then
Hmm.
like 2 or 3 people. So I was like, uh oh, you know, I'm like, how could
Not a
this
good
be?
start.
Yeah, I spent a ton of money on marketing. I put like thousands down on Google and Facebook and everything. I'm like, oh, I'll make it back real quick. No, man.
Oh
so
God.
so now I'm like, uh oh. So now I'm working. I spent all the money on the loan, to get the gym started. I ordered the mats. It was like 11 G's, to get the mats. You got to get insurance and little
Hmm.
things that you don't know. Like you're like, oh, I need an iPad. I need this. Like it starts to add up after a while.
Yeah.
Signs. So, I'm like, all right, now I'm kind of broke here and I got no members. So I'm like, it's a good thing I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm working, paying the bills. And before you know it, I'm like, all right, I'm working a full-time job. And then I'm working at the gym 7 days a week. Because up here too, it's nobody could get here because everybody works far because there's no jobs around.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just say, all right, here's classes. Your options are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's not going to work up here because people work crazy hours and traffic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was opening all day, and um, I was like, dude, I'm dying. Like hard to get kids, hard to get adults. And the bills are starting to pile up like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, get desperate after a while. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I hired marketing people and I'm listening to them and doing the best I can and nothing. I'm like, first year, 18 students. I'm like, I had low overhead, so that was good. But I'm like, all right, I need to start getting serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my knee blown out too on top of that. So I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm running a gym by myself. So I don't have anyone to help. All my friends that could help they live super far, so I can never have anyone assistant come by. So that it got rough where I was like, I got my surgery on Wednesday. I had Wednesday, my friend came, Thursday, a different friend, and Friday, a different friend. By Monday, I had to hobble back up the stairs and have people help me sit down in a chair. And I was teaching
Wow.
Danaher style, pointing, pointing with the cane. Well, not a cane, a crutch. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then we take pictures and they have to prop me against the wall like Weekend at Bernie's. I snap the picture real quick and sit down.
Right.
Yeah, it was rough. So I was like, all right, I'm not going
Wow.
back to work. Yeah, after this. Yeah, so like when people think like, oh, you're gonna open a gym, it's gonna be easy. No, man, it's hard. People look at you too as a business. They don't look as you
Mm-hmm.
always as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like so at the beginning I started getting like bitter, when people wouldn't show up. I'm like, come on, man, train. I'm like, I never got it because I train like crazy. You know how it is. You're addicted to jujitsu. You'll be there all the
Yeah.
time, day in and day out. And
I'm like that now, man.
exactly,
I
yeah.
just literally just sent the message to the group. I'm like, hey man, anybody up for some late night jits, man, by about 10:30?
Oh man,
So,
yeah. Man, if you're around, we'd be rolling.
I'm telling you, dude, I would be like if I was close and you were like, hey, I'm at the gym, come by, I'll probably be there before the text message sends.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I am too. And I didn't get when people didn't want to train all the time. I'm like, you can't give me 2 days a week. You can't give three. You know, like
Right.
so even now my average is like I have two students that train 5-6 days a week. They're here all the time. And the rest, my average, I have one student trains twice. And after that, it's once every 8 days. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. You gotta train more.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know. So you gotta understand when you have a gym that everybody there is gonna leave you at some point. People are gonna move on, they're gonna move to
Mm-hmm.
different jobs, they're gonna quit, they're gonna get hurt and be like, screw this, I'm out. Some people are gonna open up their own gyms down the road. Some people are gonna pass. So it's like one of those things that you have to get used to. And it's
Yeah.
really hard because I'm a super emotional person. Like I'm addicted to jujitsu. I'm like, try to be the best teacher I can and parent. Everything I do, I try to be the best. I'm ultra competitive.
Yeah.
And dude, like the other day, three kids they moved to Pennsylvania. And like the mother was like, oh, we're going to have to quit because we're moving. Dude, it's so rough. Like when you get hooked on, you get addicted to training and teaching. And then you're like, you give up your life to start teaching now. And then you get addicted to like teaching these kids and watching them grow every day. And they become your kids, that
Mm-hmm.
hour. And when they're there, the kids train hard, man. The kids are there 3-4 days a week. You feel like they're your kids after a while. And then when they leave, it's just like a kick to the gut. You're just like, oh
It
my
is,
God,
man. It
dude, it's
is.
rough. Yeah, the other day too, one kid quit, and that was my boy. Like he was like a little kid, so good in jujitsu and just talking smack nonstop. I'd be getting punked out by a 7-year-old, but he was hilarious. And now he's leaving, and I'm like, oh, come on. My little tater's gone.
Oh man.
Yeah, but one thing I forgot to say, congratulations on your gym. I saw that you're
Oh,
starting
thank
to teach
you.
now. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was crazy is like the last, like, you, another couple of people that I've talked to on the show has been just that, like new gym owners. So it's
Yeah.
been trying to, like, just pick their brains on it, man. Because the place that I'm going to be teaching at is, it's brand new. It's all their programs are going to be new, from their gym, from their regular gym to the MMA to the boxing. Everything's just going to be new.
Nice.
So, granted, I have experience teaching at my current school that I'm at now, but this is going to be like a head instructor role.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm cool on the teaching aspect of it, but man, just being responsible for like brand new people that never learned the sport, I don't know why it's making me so nervous. I'm not doing nothing different than what I do every day, but just the thought of it sometimes is like, I haven't even started yet, and I'm already like anxious about it,
No, man, they're more nervous than you are. Trust me.
Because I'm sitting here looking like, I'm like, oh man, I gotta start putting a lesson plan together. I gotta remember people's names.
Names are hard, man. Just keep repeating the names over and over and over.
That's what I gotta do. Like, I tell everybody I meet, I'm like, look, if you hear me say your name a few times, it's not you. It's just me trying to remember your name. Because I am horrible with names. So horrible with names.
Yeah, and make the agreement before that if you mess up their name, nothing personal. Let it be known
Right.
that you mess it up.
Man, I'm like, nothing personal. Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I tell them, like, if I meet you, I'm like, look, I'm going to forget your name. So you just have to remind me a couple times. But yeah, I'm excited for it, man. It was something I've been kind of hoping and praying for eventually one day to, like, eventually open up my own place. I wasn't necessarily like looking for it. I was just, just playing around with the idea, and then it's just kind of like just fell into my lap. I was like, man, sure.
Dude,
you telling me I get a chance to do jujitsu every day? Yes.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. The struggle is hard. The struggle, like if you don't have it planned out right, like me, like where you just went balls to the wall, you might be broke. But, it's one of those things. Money will come. The value that you provide is going to repay you. So like, just stick with it and get a solid game plan. That's why I always tell people, like, teach a curriculum where people are getting good by learning 3 moves at a time. The 3 moves that could be chained together, that you could do A, B, C, C, B, A.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just teaching random moves, they're never going to understand jujitsu. That's why I see a lot of gyms do. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you not teaching the real basics and real details behind it? Make sure they understand it where they're training perfectly. Perfect practice makes perfection. It's not practice makes perfect. You could do the same thing wrong 1,000 times and you're not going to get it right. You're just going to keep doing it wrong. Teach them perfectly, every little thing. When you teach the Kimura, tricep on the chest, twist that wrist a little, get the shoulder to the mat if you're in the guard, stuff like that, and really have them understand jujitsu, because if not, that's where things go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of like, how my instructor, he teaches, and that's how I'm gonna teach. I'm not gonna do anything no different than what he does, man, because it worked out for me. I've been training under him for like the past 6 years. I got my, from white to brown belt under him, and eventually my black belt, and my training and his legacy is going to live on through how I teach. So, the curriculum I'm not worried about. It's like I said, it's just the it's just something new, or and why not? So
no, if you love what you do and just be the best at it, the same way you train, teach. Just be passionate about it. You have a game plan and you go for it. Everything's going to fall into place. you'll be surprised with the kids. You'll be like, oh my God, they're not learning anything. And then one day, boom, that's it. They got it. Like
Yeah.
when, yeah, like Shalyn would teach, when I would teach the kids, Shalyn would be like, look, man, you know, make it easy for them to understand and they're going to learn. At the beginning, I would teach the kids more like an adult. And Shalyn was like,
Hmm.
no, you got to teach the kids like kids because they don't have the same attention span. You can't Danaher a kid because they're going to be falling asleep, or
Right.
just looking on the wall. So just 3 steps and they're going to figure it out. And they do. It's crazy. Like out of nowhere one day, they'll be rolling and then just hit that like Osotogari that you taught, and then boom, and then an arm bar. You're like, oh my God, you finally got it. And
Yes.
it's one of the best feelings, watching the kids.
Hmm. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
we had a special needs kid here, awesome kid, and it's hard for him to learn. And he got his first tap the other day. Dude, I almost my big ass almost did a backflip. I was so happy, Man, dude, I was so happy. It was the best feeling ever. It felt like I won the world, or something like that.
Yeah, man.
You know,
And as a as an instructor and as a dad, my daughter trains. I talk about this a lot.
all right.
If you listen to the show, she's the voice of the intro.
Yeah.
And when she started training, I was a little nervous about it, but man, she took to it and is at the point now that she is my assistant. Like once class starts, she leads the warm ups and
Nice.
she's teaching basic techniques and stuff, man. And she's only 7, but
That's
just like you
awesome.
said, just when you see a kid that's taken to it and really understanding it, man, it's just like, oh yes, I feel like I've done something right. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see a kid grow in this sport.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't teach jujitsu. We impact lives. It's way
Hmm.
beyond jujitsu. We're not here just to
Hmm.
show your kids some moves or show the adults some moves and just go home. No, we're here to make you better. Get you better shape, get you confidence, learn to deal with tough situations. You're going to learn to achieve a goal. You're going to learn to lose. You're going to learn to win. There's so many life
Yeah.
lessons. It's way more than just doing some moves and rolling and winning or losing. Like,
Yeah, and all that happens in a matter of in minutes, man. When you
yeah.
really think about it, because if you're doing jujitsu and you're in the middle of a match, all those situations and scenarios happen that you as soon as that slap bump happened, it's like
Oh,
yeah, critical thinking. You have to be able to just keep yourself calm, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Having
exactly.
yourself under pressure. So much stuff happens in that
Yeah.
matter of in that split second.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, I love it too because I have like the worst ADD. So I
me
have all
too.
those thoughts going on. I'm thinking about like what I'm gonna do later tonight, what's for dinner, in the middle of this move, when I'm thinking about the next round,
Hmm.
so many thoughts going through my mind at once. But I
Yeah.
think that's what makes people better, like people with like ADD or like crazy impulsive, like rock star people, like a John Jones, like he's like a party animal, like maniac. And he's so good
Hmm.
because people that just go all out, all out, whatever they do, they excel.
Hmm.
Sometimes John Jones goes a little too far out, but like that's how the wildest people are usually like the best, or like the
Yeah.
super nerds, it's like one extreme or the other.
Oh yeah. But I
Yeah.
love it, man. I love everything that jujitsu has stood for in my life for like the past 6 years, and
Uh,
I'm excited to see where it goes, man. I'm
uh, you,
excited to see what this new place and this new venture is going to be like.
yeah, you're going in the right place, man. Just, go slow and everything is going to come together. You just got to see opportunities come and go. And, everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
you learn to win, you learn to lose, man. But you also learn, don't give up. Like right
Can't.
now for me, no, man, I'm like, the gym's hard. I've took a big risk from the space upstairs to downstairs is like 3 times the price, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm throwing all cards on deck, like if I lose the house, like I just work more. I work now 2 jobs and teach full time, so
Right.
7 days a week, all day, all night, every day. After this, I got to go and start planning out stuff for the gym, check the billing, check everything every day. I do my nightly texts where I just go through all my leads and everything. And, it's just nonstop. I wake up at 6 in the morning, go to work, come home, eat real quick, go to the gym, teach at night. I wouldn't want to trade it though, because it's
Yeah,
a
man.
struggle here.
It's one of those struggles that, like you said, you don't mind dealing with because you love what you do so much. So
Exactly.
I can, just from the conversation, I can definitely tell you have a huge, strong passion for it, just like I do, and
Exactly.
you just want your.
All right. We're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulties. The camera decided to just die on me. It's been working hard this last couple of days, and I appreciate it. But I hope my camera is okay. I will figure that out later. But anywho, where were we?
We were just talking about the passion for jiu-jitsu. And
Yes. The love and strong passion that we both have for this sport that we have dedicated so much time to.
oh yeah, all day, all night, every day.
Yeah, man. All day, all night, every day. My life is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I'm thankful that I have a supportive family. My kids, not gonna lie, they don't want to train anymore. They don't want to teach. They used to help me out. And they're like, nope, no more. They're like, this is a job, and I don't get paid for it. I'm like, well, I don't get paid either, so we're even.
Right, like you get paid in knowledge, though, man.
Yeah. Oh, they don't want the knowledge at this point. They're like 8 years deep. They're like, I just want to chill. They're like 16 now. They're all about their phones. Thank God no boys yet, because I'll be breaking out the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, like I said, she's 7, and I dread those days.
Oh wait. Dude, just make time go slow as you can, because
yeah,
did
I'm
she say
trying
I hate
to.
you yet?
No, we haven't gotten there yet. I'm hoping we don't. I'm hoping those are the words I would regret to hear as a father, man. I would hate to hear my daughter say that.
Oh, you'll laugh your ass off the first time. When it gets so mad, like, I hate you, and you're just like, I knew it's gonna happen.
Like, fight me.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. Kids get emotional, and you can't take it serious. You gotta be by their side, but like stuff like that, it's just emotions, and they'll get over it. And then later they come back and, oh, I'm sorry, like, whatever, kid, don't worry. You're cool. We're still cool about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what else, man? What else has been going on with you in this world we call jiu-jitsu?
So I want to talk to you about some funny stories about stuff that nobody talks about when you have a gym, is the weirdos that call you up or come by.
Yes.
So, all right, one day, usually on Fridays after class, we all hang out, we'll have a beer, just sit around, have a couple of drinks maybe, and just talk. And sometimes we're here late, till like 11. So this one Friday night, everybody left, and I took a shower. And as I'm walking out of the shower, I just hear like, and I'm like, who's this? I thought maybe somebody forgot something. So I don't have a window in the door. So I just open up the door, and I'm like, oh, what's up? And it's some random dude. He's like, yeah, I'm a blue belt from some gym in Pennsylvania, and I want to roll. And I'm like, you want to roll now? It's Friday night. It's like 9:30. Like, why would you just randomly come up to a gym, no notice, and say you want to roll?
Right.
Yeah. And then I'm like, we're not open now. I'm like, at the time I wasn't open on Saturday. So I'm like, come back on Sunday. We have open at 11. You're more than welcome. And he's like, oh, I drove down from PA. And I'm like, I can't help you. I'm like, I'm going home. He's like, I really, really wanted the roll. And he was kind of like, like pushy about it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I threw my sweaty gi back on, my fresh shirt. I'm all mad, so I threw my sweaty gi over it. I'm like, let's go. I put the timer on. Man, I just took him down real quick, mount, got the underhooks under his arm, walked up. So his armpit's like this, and I'm heavy. I'm 6 foot 235. I'm not small. So
Mm-hmm.
I put all my weight on him like this for 5 minutes straight. By the time I got up to the arms, it was like 5 minutes straight of that. And he just gets up, takes his stuff, and walks out. He just as he's walking down the stairs. I'm like, I'll see you on Sunday.
Okay, bye.
Dude, I'm like, I want to see if this guy comes back on Sunday. I'm like, I doubt it. Yeah, he never came back after that. I'm like,
Of course he didn't.
and then I get some other guy one time. He calls me up and he's like, I don't know the guy's name. He's like, do you know Scott from Arizona or Tennessee? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this guy challenged me to a fight on Facebook. I want you to make it happen. I'm like thinking at first, I'm like, oh, this got to be one of my friends playing around. And this guy was like dead ass. He's like, yeah, I want to fight this guy and I want you to make it happen. I'm like, who are you? Who are this guy?
Who
Why are you calling my gym? Dude, some of the weirdos. Yeah, the other day too, I get a text. I want to learn how to fight. And then I'm like, I don't even know how to write, but like, what would you write back to this guy?
Like, congratulations. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be my guess. Like, congratulations. I'm happy you want to do that.
yeah. So I call up. I go on my marketing group on Tribe Accelerator. Shout out Johnny Buck. And I'm like, what do I say to this guy? And then he's like, all right, well, be cool with him and ask him why now he wants to fight. What changed in life. Mm-hmm. So I text them back, and of course, nothing. Like I text, I email. I'm like, maybe he really wants to train. Maybe just, some people aren't good at speaking. So I'm like, let me give the guy a benefit of the doubt. But no, you'll get a lot of that, a lot of no-shows too.
Oh yeah, that I do know, man. I've extended the invite to our gym so many times. Yeah. And people like, yeah, man, I'm gonna show up or I'm gonna come. When's class? Tuesday and Thursday. We have class every Tuesday and Thursday. It does not change. They don't show up. Then a couple months or so go by, and they're like, yeah, man, I'm or they'll post on Facebook saying they're looking for a gym or they're looking for something to do. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. So I have this philosophy, and I was totally against it, and I'm thinking about it now, is about paid trials. Because if you're given a free trial, free means that it doesn't have value. Mm-hmm. So if they're not investing money into it at first, they don't see the value of jiu-jitsu. It has nothing for them, no value whatsoever. So I'm thinking about doing a paid trial, and then if they sign up, I'll just credit the money back. Because this way, if they pay, say it's $10 even, it's $10 that they had to take out of their pocket and Venmo you or whatever. So that put effort. So if they don't show up, they're going to lose that money. So it gives more of initiative to come. I was totally against it. And now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should do paid trials because I get a lot of no-shows as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you kind of, especially in situations like this, you are giving up so much time, so much so much you give up so much for this person, and they come in and they like, or they don't show, you sitting in the parking lot and waiting on them, and they don't even call and say they're not going to make it. So I don't blame you. It doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
Yeah, because I'm like, I get in touch with the person, I call back, we talk. Sometimes I'll talk to him for like an hour on the phone, get to know him and think, oh man, we got a bond going, we're cool. They're gonna come by and they seem like a great fit, and then they ghost you the last second. I'll wash your gi and I'll have it folded on the table, so when they come to the door, they have a gi ready. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable as possible, and then they ghost you and you're like, oh man, come on. And then I get it, it's hard. I tell them before, I'm like, all right, it's intimidating, you're going into a combat sport, you're trying something that you've probably never tried in your life. I'll be there every step of the way with you. Don't worry about it. Everybody's been there. We could relate. Doesn't matter if I've been there for 15 years. I was there too. I was that person scared in the corner. Like, I don't even know what to say to these people.
Right. Yeah, we've all been there, man. Everyone who's been training, who stepped on the mats, even from a one stripe white belt up, man, everyone has been a deer in the headlights when it comes to jujitsu.
Yeah, yeah. I was one of those people. If you ever you look at school pictures, there's always like that one person, like everybody kneeling or everybody standing, and the one person kneeling like on one knee, is totally out of place, like in the corner. I was that person, I have that picture there, like all stupid, like totally out of place, didn't even notice, in the group, you know. It- I
Oh
was there,
man.
like
Yeah,
it's
but
part of the game.
it's yeah, it's part of the game, man. And like I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was explaining to her like the hardest belt to get is a white belt,
Yeah,
and I think the second hardest belt to get is a purple.
yeah. Blue belt's hard. I did a little talk about the blue belt blues the other day
Mm-hmm.
because that's the point of your life, your jujitsu journey, that you're starting to realize that it's hard and there's levels to this game. At white belt, you're gonna have that white belt luck. You might smoke everyone, or you just might be terrible, and just accept it. And then
Mm-hmm.
by blue belt, you're like, all right, I'm starting to understand concepts, and I'm starting to put together these moves, and nothing's working out. And people that weren't tapping me before might be tapping me now, or I might not be doing well in competition, but it's just part of opening up. It's like blue belt is like hitting puberty, like your your hormones are going crazy and changes are happening because you're starting to understand things and you're looking for reactions, and you might not be fast enough yet, or you might not understand it fully. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the part, that's when you really got to buckle down and say, look, I'm going to continue with this. I'm not going to give up. I know it's going to be rough, but I'm going to do better. I'm going to get my game plan going, and I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah.
And that's where the champions come from. The people that never gave up, that had a game plan, a vision. They look forward. They're not looking side to side and comparing themselves to other people, because it's not about the other people. It's about you. Like, you're there to uplift your partners and everything, but at the end of the day, it's your journey. This
Yeah.
is it's a team sport, but it's a personal responsibility.
Definitely.
That's how I look at it. I'm like, I'm here for my teammates. We all make each other better, but at the same time, like, I have my goals that I have to go. And every person on the team has a purpose. Like, you could go to the most beginner person and just work a technique with them and not even tell them, and just keep working it and see how they react and see different reactions, and then build up from it. But we all have a purpose at the gym, and we all should have our own personal goal that we're going for. you know
Mm-hmm.
Whether, if you want to compete or you're just a hobbyist, but you should have a goal, because if not, then you're kind of lost. That's when you start quitting,
Yeah.
when you're just showing up and have no purpose, and you're not achieving anything because nothing was set. That's when people start leaving or they get bored. It's just like, you have to make things exciting in jiu-jitsu.
For
You just
sure, man.
can't go the same day just do an X choke or whatever every single day, or put yourself in bad positions and just learn, you know.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that you kind of like. I've dealt with a lot of culture shock, I guess you can say, when it comes to jujitsu, because prior to training, I never really like dove that deep into jujitsu, like I have been, as of late.
Yeah.
So when I got my blue belt, and the different groups that I've been in, I post like, yeah, I got my blue belt, blah blah blah, and a lot of people was like, congratulations, don't quit. So I was like, what? So then I started looking more into it, and then I did not know the rate of people that dropped off the map was when it comes to blue belt, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I'll just be so like shocked about it, like, why is that a thing? But my instructor was saying, like, a lot of people that that found, that tried jujitsu and they put so much time and they got that blue belt. A lot of people like that, they never really, I guess, strive for a lot of stuff, I guess you can say.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's
That's the
like you
go
get that
getters.
blue belt, they get that sense of accomplishment, like, yeah, I did it, and then they're
Yeah.
done. I was like, oh, no, that don't
No,
work for me.
no. Yeah, I'm one of those people too. I'm like, I can't settle,
Yeah, because when I got my blue belt, and I was like, okay, now it's preparing. Now it's time to prepare for the purple. Now it's time to
Exactly.
prepare for brown, so on and so forth. Like I can't describe, like, I try not to show it when I talk to people. Like if I meet someone out and about and I have on like a jujitsu shirt or whatever, and people are like, oh, you train jujitsu, I instantly get excited because they know what it is.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, man, I train. What belt you stop? What rank are you? Oh, I stopped at I used to be a blue belt. I'm like, man,
Dude,
shut up.
yeah. I met this guy yesterday. I was out with my wife and kids. We went to grab a quick bite to eat, and these kids like, "Oh, you train?" Because I was wearing my gym shirt, and I'm like, "Yeah." And the kid's like, "Yeah, I'm a teacher," and I'm like, "Oh, nice." And I didn't say anything, just like, "All right, let me see where this is gonna go." And then he's like, "I'm like, oh, nice. What do you teach?" He's like, "Jujitsu." And I'm like, "Oh, what belt are you?" He's like, "Oh, blue belt." And I'm like, "Hell, you teach at blue belt?" Like some techniques at blue belt, but you're not gonna teach much. Like
Right.
like you could be like a maybe assistant teacher, but and then he's like, "Oh, what about you?" And I'm like, "Oh, now I gotta talk to him. Like, oh, I'm a black belt and I own this gym." And like, the conversation gets all awkward afterwards.
Right.
He probably thought he was like I was just a blue belt dude walking around, and I was gonna be like, "Oh, you're the man," you know.
Right. Like,
It's just
yeah,
crazy.
they be like, yeah, I'm a blue belt. Like, what belt are you? Like, oh, I just got my brown.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It always changes real quick, right? Yeah,
I don't
I had that.
understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people like the front because UFC is popular and it's like it's the hip thing to do, which is awesome. I love it, because I'm like I wish everybody would do jujitsu.
Hmm.
But, at the same time, like you got to realize you got to keep it real. Like if you're a blue belt or something, you're still paying dues.
Right.
Even that black belt. If I walked up to one of the OG black belts, it's a whole different level of respect. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm a black belt. You know, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I train.
Yeah, I
Because
do. I train a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
I
like
train here or there.
yeah, like when you talk to like Shallon or my old teacher Cena or like Henzo Gracie, like the level that they're on is like light years ahead. I'm like I strive to be like a percentage of them. You know,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, man, and it's weird even being at my rank. When I bump into like other brown belts or higher, I still get nervous. Like I'm like, how do I approach this conversation,
yeah,
knowing that I'm not too far off from from them guys, technique wise or whatever.
yeah,
But you still feel like a certain air about it, because
yeah,
to me, I still don't believe I'm a brown belt, even though I put my time in, or whatever. I didn't
yeah,
I didn't BS my way to the top or anything like that. But still, I feel like, man, I don't. How do I address you? You know?
yeah, yeah. I'm like that still. In January. I'll get my first degree, and
Okay.
I'm still like that too. I'm like, damn, I'm a black belt. Like every time I roll too. Like when new people come to the gym or something like that, I'm like, oh man. Because they say there's no ego, but there is a little. Like you don't want to be
There
like
is.
you don't want to go and get your ass beat at the gym at your own gym. So every time we roll, I'm like, oh wait, hold on, I'm a black belt. Yeah, I am one. And then I got to put it on them. Because especially if you're gonna come to enforcers, BJJ. That's one thing we don't play. Like we roll hard. There's no flow rolling at my gym. We go hard because that's reality. Jiu-jitsu is not patty cake.
No.
Like some
Life
gyms.
life ain't either.
No, exactly. Yeah, man. Life is tough. Unless you're loaded, you come from a super rich family, then life is easier. But like I've always been like the mad enforcer because it works out perfect because I'm the typical person that you would think is the enforcer. Like, oh, look at the nerdy guy. He's a little fat. He's in the corner, and then all of a sudden, it's time that I turn it on. That's how I came up with the name enforcers
Hmm.
because that's why I always was. Like my one teacher, he would have the code. He'd be like, you know, if somebody came from a different gym, they'd be like, Cena would be looking at me. He'd be like, "Hey Frank, you give him the business card." And I'm like, "All right, cool." You know, and then it's on. You know, we're challenge gym too a couple of times. You know, like they give me the look and you know it's game time. You know, then you
Mm-hmm.
have to represent your gym. Like you don't have to hurt the person or degrade them, but you have to show them that you know we don't play. You know, our gym is true. We're the real deal,
Yeah.
and that's where my gym, the name comes from. You know, at first I was gonna name it Third Eye Jiu Jitsu, but then I'm like, maybe the parents wouldn't like that one too much, you know. You know, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, you gotta represent, man. You gotta represent your school the best way you know how. I got a chance to teach my first seminar a couple months ago,
nice.
and the guy who school it was, he's a brand new school. He just opened up a few months. It hasn't been a year yet. No, it's just he just recently opened up, and we were talking about on the podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I would love for you to come down and blah 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 blah." And I didn't think nothing of it until like one day he asked me like, "Yeah, man, so when you gonna come down and do a seminar or something?" I'm like, "Oh,
That was it.
okay, sure." And just going down there and representing my school, representing our style, and they're messaging me like, "Hey man, that technique that you showed, man, I used it a couple times, man. It works out great." And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling, right?
Such awesome feeling, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're more nervous the night before than a competition, right? You're like, oh man, you know, I hope I flow right. You know, everything goes right.
mm-hmm.
That's how I was today all day long. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I hope I just don't catch a dumb spell where I'm just like, duh, you know, the whole time or whatever. It,
Right.
it's the
I
same
got
thing.
because when I was on my way there, I was one of my training partners went with me, man, and the whole time we were riding, I'm replaying everything I want to say in
Yeah.
my head, like, okay, do not screw this up, do not screw this up.
Yeah.
You know this, do it. And
Yeah.
but it turned out really good, man. It was very very fun, very very fun.
That's all.
I've taught, obviously I've taught at my school, but being able to go out and show our share my jujitsu knowledge with someone else was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, like you get to meet awesome people. You know, you get that bond, and you'll be friends forever with these people. You know that you meet
Yeah,
and influence their life. One little technique that you show that gets their game to the next level, it's worth it. You know, like I've had so many people that just show me like the littlest thing. You know, like the omoplata, like just adjust here a little bit, and then next thing you know, it's like I'm tapping people left and right from it. I'm like, dude, you know, 15 years later, I'm still using it, still giving my friend props, you know, for it. You know, it's amazing.
yeah. And I feel that way. I mean, even now, man, like even as a brown belt, I still take pride in learning from anybody. I don't care if
Yeah,
you are a white belt, blue belt, purple belt. If you got something to show, and if I see it, I will have you teach it. Like,
yeah,
like no lie.
yeah.
Like I will stop a class. Like, hey, everybody,
Oh,
come over. Let's watch this and and whatever. And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I had one of my 7-year-olds today doing a key lock, you know, the regular Americana,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't grab his wrist. He just plants the person's wrist down and pries the elbow up. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, it's ugly, but it actually works. I'm like,
I'm saying,
you
right,
know,
I'm like, I'm looking, I'm envisioning. I'm like, well, he's not wrong.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can't say much because it works. He's going to tap. I'm like, you know, but that's one thing though. Between me and you, nobody's watching, right? No, I'm
Nah.
kidding. I'm getting so sick of watching people teach wrong techniques or like teaching wrong in general. You know, like if you want to compare, we all know moves,
Mm-hmm.
but the moves that make it right are the little techniques and knowing how to do it. You know, you could compare Gordon and Mikey Musumeci to, say, a normal black belt like me or something. But, you know, if I'm showing a move a little wrong, they're doing it right. And that's why they're winning. You know what I mean? Like the techniques are everything and the understanding. And I see people on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and they're doing trash techniques. And I'm like, come on, man, people are watching this and 10,000 likes. I'm like, this is crazy. You know,
Yeah.
like, like you have, like I said before, like that perfect practice makes perfect. And if you're watching these techniques and these people are like, just say the Kimura, the person's tricep is not against the chest, you're not going to get it. They're going to slip their arm out, when you're on top. And
Mm-hmm.
people are showing it like, like they're doing it and they have the cool music and it looks all cool. And I'm like, no, man, stop doing that stuff, because you're not being a good influence by doing that stuff. Stop it now. Do your
Yeah.
technique right and make it look nice on the video.
Like I take a lot of those videos, I don't take them to heart because
Yeah.
I get why they do it the way they do it because they want the views, they want people to be, they want the oohs and ahs of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes I be looking at these techniques, I'm like, dude, that does not work at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we
And
know
some
what
of
do
them are
I know?
famous too. Yeah. Some of
Yeah.
them are famous. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how are they? They're killing it. you know, or like people that do competitions and when it comes time to teach and to like get the triangle and just pull the head, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how? Sometimes, like me, I'm not the best competitor, but I'm an awesome teacher.
Hmm.
And there's people too that are awesome competitors and they teach like trash, so
Right.
it goes hand in hand.
It does, but there has been, I can say for sure, there has been a couple people that I've followed on Instagram and Facebook where they'll rep a technique, break it down, but then they'll actually show when they actually used it in a live role, like in a competition and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I'm like, that I like, but just
exactly. Yeah.
you're flowing from one part of the room to the other, just chaining stuff together. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
real jujitsu.
Yeah. You can't pull it off. Nobody can pull it
Right.
off.
Like, no, there's no way you're gonna be rolling to take someone back that easily.
Yeah. 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 Like everybody now doing a Kolabate back takes, and I'm like, all right, pull that off in competition and show it, like you're, it's cool to look at, like we do with my students too, but I'm like, if you got to drill the moves, I want to see it done, so
Right.
we got some competition coming up and I want to see some spinning back takes because we've been practicing some of them, and we got to pull it off now. We
Yeah,
put it
man.
out.
You put it out
Yeah.
there, man. Got to got to
Yeah.
got to represent it, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm getting ready. I want to do my first competition back in a long time, because Corona happened. I opened the gym and then I had my ACL and MCL done. So that was a long recovery, you know,
Mm.
especially at 47 years old. Man, it
Mm.
wasn't easy. I'm not a youngin. I can't bounce back early like some of these people. Like I see them competing 9 months later. I'm like, damn, how'd you do that? Like,
Right, lucky.
yeah, I'm like still working on deep squats, here. So yeah, I'm
Like,
hoping to get back.
I'm relearning how to walk up steps, and you out here running.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm learning. Yeah, I'm trying to get ready. I want to do the ADCC in Jersey.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah. They have the old man division. I'm like, I'm hoping to wreck some old people.
that
You know.
sounds awesome, man. That sounds
Yeah,
so awesome.
going out there breaking some hips, right? Yeah, they got a division for 45 and up. I'm like, son.
Says my time to shine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is my moment.
Yeah, I know. I know. The second I walk on the mat, I'm gonna get the friggin' TRT'd up, juiced up Brazilian dude. Just toss me on my head,
Oh god,
But
man.
that's all right. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. I'm looking forward
I'm
to it.
I'm excited for you, man. I'm so
Thank you.
excited for you.
Yeah, man. It's just, we have to test ourselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
even it's hard when you're running a school and you're working and you don't have time to train. Like my students, most of them are lower belts and they're small. I have one white belt he's huge. He's 6'5", 6'6", 200 pounds. But most of my students are like 5'6" and 150. So when we roll, I have to make things up, to make up for it. Like try not to use strength or, put myself in a bad position because that's the
Mm-hmm.
way I get training. I don't have time always to drive to Shaolins because he's over an hour away.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm like, I got to make things happen. We got to just drill leg locks, and put myself in leg locks and fight out of it, because that's what ADCC is all about. Pull guard
Yeah.
and crank a leg as hard as you can, real quick, and hope for the best.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, yeah. So, real quick, what's your philosophy on training? Are you big into like positionals, or you just go rolls right away?
I'm a little bit. I guess I'm gonna say I'm a little well-rounded. I think all that stuff kind of is important in jujitsu. From a lot of schools don't rep. I
Yeah,
love repping.
yeah,
Um, you know, uh, Situationals is one thing that we've been incorporating more into our no gi class. So that's
yeah.
been
Likewise.
extremely fun, so
Yeah,
damn fun. So we're gonna
yeah,
keep up with that. But yeah, I believe in repping. I believe in drills. I believe in situationals. I believe in just working from bad positions. All that stuff
yeah,
plays a big key into your growth in jujitsu.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. It's funny for the kids. None of my kids. I actually no. One kid knows about pulling guard. Other than that, the kids have no clue. I wouldn't even teach them. I'm like, it's not. I'm like, your kids are young. Learn how to do your double legs and your single legs, and I showed a drop sayonagi today actually, and
Mm-hmm.
I want those kids getting well versed, and the very beginners too. It was good because I was able to teach the kids, and I never taught them what a guillotine choke was. So I had these kids just double legging and single legging like crazy at the beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
then once they got good, then I'm like, all right, we could teach the guillotine. They don't allow it in competition, but this is real. So now when they shoot, they look for the guillotine. Even if it's not in competition, they still have good form.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And for the adults, I'm big on positionals. I think every Thursday we have positional day. King of the Hill, three people in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start from sometimes a single leg, but most of the time we'll start in guard. After 5 minutes, half guard, side control, three-quarter guard, mount, back. And we get people good at every position, because some people, big dudes, they're never going to be on the bottom if you don't force them, you know, or little people, maybe they never get on top in the beginning because they just get smashed.
Mm-hmm.
I have these people now, everyone's starting to get well rounded. It's awesome, and then the better they get, we start in octopus guard and, single leg X, and people start getting used to every position. And I think that's the way to get people really good at jujitsu.
Yeah, man. You have to experience jujitsu. You can't play around with it. You gotta go in, you gotta get used to the suck, you gotta get used to your bad
Yeah.
positions, you gotta get used to being choked and arm being ripped out of its socket. You gotta get used to
Yeah.
all that if you really want to know
Yeah.
what jujitsu is really about.
Yeah, exactly. We're creatures of habits. So,
Yeah.
we'll just keep doing the same thing that we always do. If people let us, we'll just go for our one sweep, go up top, armbar, whatever. And if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you'll fall into that trap really quick.
Yeah. And that's how I got used to it. Like from mid blue and now I have been like the uki for my
Yeah,
instructor. So I felt every arm lock and choke and leg
yeah,
lock. I felt it all to the point where if he's going over his lessons and once I realize what position he's in, I'd be like, oh shit. So
yeah, yeah,
because because you get so used to the sequence of how he teaches, and it's like, okay, he taught this, he did this, and then he's this type of instructor where he'll start real tame.
yeah, he gets it.
Like for example, if we're working chokes from like chokes from side control, so
Yeah,
we'll start with a bread cutter, and then we'll go to
yeah,
T choke, and then we'll go to head arm triangle,
yeah,
and then we get into ninja, um baseball choke and all the other stuff. And it's like, so by the
Shin
time we
behind
get
the neck.
right, so by the time we get 3-4 in, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah. 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 We have this new guy. He's Ukrainian, and he was like a Ukrainian like national sambo champion.
Oh wow.
And yeah, their level of training, man, is different. So like sometimes I'll have him teach, and I'm like, teach something easy, man. Don't be killing us. He's like, doesn't speak English very well. He's like, I easy, and whoa, boom, and next thing you know, like you feel like your soul left your body. You're like, dude, easy, man. Like I'm 47. Like don't be killing me here.
He said, okay, I go easy and just
Yeah,
straight double
yeah,
blast to the wall.
yeah. No. He was doing like some crazy sambo throw, like over his shoulder, and I'm like, dude, I'm 47, 230 pounds. I'm like, tell me what you got to do first. Show me really light first, not full blast first move. And then break it down later after I'm dead. You know, they like to do that first. They go, all right, here's what I'm gonna show. Whoa, boom. All right, now I'm gonna break it down. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. So
That's
now,
awesome, man.
from now on, I'm like, yo, you teach foot sweeps, man. Teach something nice. All the people are scared of him now.
I bet, man. I bet. Everyone has that. Everyone has it at their school, though. Everyone has that one guy that just
Yeah.
goes balls to the wall, no matter what day it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how we are too. Like whoever you go against, like nobody. I don't even think anyone knows how to flow roll at my gym too. So every round is to the death.
Nah. I love flow rolling.
Yeah. I like it, and I don't. I like it cardio. I think it's good. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it right, but sometimes I see people or I roll with people and they start getting lazy during the flow roll and start making stuff up that doesn't work. And I'm like, that defeats the whole purpose of it. Like,
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
yeah, like you're flow rolling with a purpose and you're watching things. This is your time to, work on your escapes and get a move and then go on to the next. And don't start making up different moves in the middle and like messing up the flow. Like ever try flow rolling with like a lower belt,
Mm-hmm.
and like you just have to like put your arm here, like, and then
Like don't
you have to,
don't do that. Like
yeah,
you don't do that.
yeah, you have to sweep yourself, like put the knee up here and sweep yourself,
Right.
and then yeah, then it becomes a private lesson. you know that's why I like the good, if you have somebody who knows how to flow roll, then it's beautiful. you
Yeah.
know but yeah, or if you put two white belts together and say flow roll, that's like, break out the camera because you gotta get some funny stuff going.
Yeah. After three moves, it gets chaotic. It
Yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
chaotic.
Yeah, someone's bleeding.
That's like the other day we were just it was warm-up, so we was just working like takedown entries, like if you shoot
Yeah,
for a single leg, don't finish it, or if you go
yeah.
for a hip toss, don't finish it. So we're going, and my back was kind of like turned because I was working with my partner, and next thing you know, I hear the boom. I just stopped. I'm like, I don't need to look. I already know
You
who
know
it
who?
is. I'm not gonna say his name, but he know who he is.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as you said it too, I'm like, yep, it's that person.
It's
I
like,
don't know him, but I know him.
yep, he's gonna kill me, but I don't care. But he knows who he is. I'm gonna be nice and not say his name this time. But yeah,
Yeah, you can usually
definitely.
spot him out too.
Yeah, easily. It's all
Yeah,
everyone has that at their gym, and if you don't think you have that person at that gym, 9 times out of 10, you are that person.
yeah. Yeah, that was usually me too. I put that little extra stank on the arm bar, sitting on the chest, not cranking the arm bar, but I put the little stank on the rib,
Right.
just set down a little too hard and like, oh shit, my bad. I forget that I'm heavy sometimes.
Yeah, you be in the moment, man. You be happy, you excited, and it's just it happens.
Yeah. Where sometimes you're messing with your friend and then you're like, oh wait, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, one guy one time, I didn't even know him. We were rolling an open mat, and I had my beard was long, and I looked like Santa. And he comes up to me. He's like, haha, you look like Santa. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to roll. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I got a present for you. You know, I put that dude in the gift wrap, you know.
That was a gift wrap sweep.
Really? I put it in the gift wrap. I yoked him up, and I was like, at the end of the roll, I was like, Merry Christmas. I just messed with him the whole round.
That's what you get for talking.
Yeah. Sometimes people just gotta shut up, you know. But I've been there too.
Yeah.
Plenty of times where I talk some smack, and next thing you know, my friends are just beating my ass the whole round.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Like they say, you know, one day you're the hammer, the next time you're the nail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. My coach, one of my coaches, he used to bring me up to an open mat, and it was just like me and all black belts, and he would just let me get passed around, you know. And it was, at the time, you're like, oh, this sucks, you know, like I just feel like crap. But later, you're like, dude, I learned so much. I got so good from it. It was amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had to pay my dues, get made fun of, and you know, get beat up. You know, my teacher too, my original teacher, he trolled me so hard all the time, you know, because I was a little wise ass, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like just for fun, not to be disrespectful, but I used to joke around a lot. So I remember when he didn't even strike me forever, totally forgot about me. So one day, like a year later, I'm still white belt, no stripes. He's like, what happened? You have no stripes? And I'm like, no, you never gave me any. So he promoted me above the bar. So I have 3 white stripes. I think I have the belt here somewhere. Yes. He promoted just to mess with me. Look what he did with the stripes. I still have this belt here.
Oh
You see
wow.
that? Just to mess with me. That's how bad it was, you know. Everybody used to mess with me because I would talk trash, you know, and it was always fun. You know, I love it, you know. We're here to have fun too. We train hard, but we have fun,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know.
for
So
sure.
it was funny because I have the belt in the back room, and I let one of the new students wear a gi, and then one of my other students pulls my belt and gives it to them. I'm like, oh man, this belt has magical powers. I have like 10 white belts over here. You had to take that one, you know?
He said out of all belts, you had to touch that one.
Yeah. And then later when we take pictures, I'm like, oh, I can't take a picture with him with that belt on because they're gonna be like, why is the stripes above the bar? You know? And I don't have to explain that story to everybody, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Frank, man. So we have a staple here at Talk Your Jits podcast, man. We ask everyone who comes on the show. So past or present, who are your main 3 people you would love to get a chance to roll with?
Oh man. Definitely Gordon,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Marcelo, you know, hoping he gets better. You know, he's a great guy. Never got to roll with him. You know, and I really like Marigali, you know. I never got to roll with him either. I put my style mostly on Marigali, Leandro Lowe. You know, they were like my influences. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the power sleeve and the deep De La Hiva and everything. The single leg X. So those guys, you know, Gordon is like huge and he's super technical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he talks smack, but he could back it up. You know, so
I'm gonna say he could definitely back it up.
yeah. I would definitely love to roll with those guys.
Yeah, it's a solid list, man. Solid list. All right, man. If you got any other questions for me, man, fire away. If not, man, I would love for you to shout out your school. If y'all got anything coming up, man, the floor is all yours.
All right, cool, man. No, I just want to thank you so much for giving me this platform. You know, it's an awesome experience. I never got to do a podcast, so I'm amped up, a little extra charged up today. But um, I just want to, you know, say if you guys are around Franklin or if you're ever in the area, we're by Sparta up in the boonies in New Jersey. You're always welcome to come by if you ever wanted to try jujitsu. Man, just dive into it. You know, go to a local school. You could contact me. I'll help you out. I know a lot of people. You know, I'll point you in the right direction. You know, just support jujitsu. Everybody out there, just make a game plan and stick with it and be an example. You know, help people out. You know, have fun, be an influence. And,
Yes.
you know, I'm hoping to do an instructional video. I want to do an instructional video on basics and teaching people, how to get a game plan, because how many times you're gonna see this over and over. And when you start jujitsu, you're gonna be like, I don't know what to do. That's where
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna come in handy. I got your back. So I'm gonna make a video. It's gonna be coming out sooner than later, and I'm gonna go over all of that, because I want people, when they join jujitsu, to understand what's going on and kind of have a little understanding of it. You're not gonna get every technique, but you gotta understand what techniques work with what, and how the body works and the physics behind jujitsu. Because if you don't understand how the body works, you're never gonna understand jujitsu.
Yeah,
That's why,
exactly.
yeah, stupid people can't do jujitsu.
It takes
It's
it takes a little bit of mental work to understand
yeah,
jujitsu.
yeah, definitely. It's a science.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, thanks again. It's just, if you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, I have Threads, which nobody goes on, but it's Enforcers BJJ all together. Um, you're always welcome to come by. I love to have visitors. We have a bunch of visitors. We have a ski resort by us, so a lot of people come and visit. That's
Sweet.
one thing. Yeah, one thing that we always get people down. It's awesome. And just thank you again. I really appreciate it, man.
Man, not a
Anytime you're around
problem.
too. Yeah, if you're ever around, if you ever compete in New York, man, you got a place to stay, you got a place to train. You're always welcome. Bring the fam down. You know,
Yeah,
we
sounds like
could
a
go.
plan.
Yeah, we could go to the boonies. It's beautiful for camping stuff up here, and then New York City is like an hour and change away. We
Mm-hmm.
got the best of both worlds out here.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to put it together. I don't know how yet, but I do plan on trying to visit a lot of the people that was been on the podcast. It's a lot of y'all.
Yeah,
So I got to get a world tour going one day.
yeah.
That's a plan. I want to get a nice little world tour, visiting all you wonderful individual who's who shares the love that I have for this sport.
Hell yeah, man. If you guys want to come down to my gym too,
Oh
everybody's
yeah,
welcome.
yeah,
We
you're
could
on the
do
list.
a meet and greet, just have all the people come down, if they're in the city training for the, whatever, like, hopefully they do the Nogi Worlds in New York again. If you guys want to come down, all the people, the listeners, the past podcast guests, come down. We can meet up in my gym, free place to train. You'll get good training in, meet good people, have fun.
Sounds like a plan, Frank. Sounds
Hell
like
yeah.
a plan.
All right,
All
man.
right, man. That's the end of today's episode. I would love to thank Frank one more time for coming on the show and blessing us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page to stay updated on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits Podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day. And we're done, brother.